Good evening. This is Just Bowman, and I'm here with another live stream. Give me a moment to let this cook a little bit. Let it simmer. What I am going to talk about today is Peterson, his interview with Piers Morgan, his response in that interview, the response to that interview, and what it is that I see that's wrong with what happened. All right. So in this interview that he had with Piers Morgan, and I'm talking about Jordan Peterson, towards the end of it, they were talking about how an actress by the name of Olivia Wilde, she came out with a movie, and she stated in an interview that she based it one of the villains in the movie off of him, and then she described Jordan Peterson as the Incel King and somebody who all the incels look up to and worship. And when that was mentioned by Piers Morgan, it brought tears to his eyes. And he talked about how a lot of men don't feel like they're listened to, like they're ignored, like what they have to say doesn't matter. And he was actually giving them a voice. And so he was humbled to be in that position to give them that voice that they feel as though they don't have. And the the, the response to him getting emotional during that interview, I can honestly say that it made me sick to my stomach. Um, there is a internet, YouTube news broadcast. They call themselves the Young Turks. Um, these people pretty much like threw more insults and more salt on the wound and said, "Oh, what she said about him was 100% true," and furthermore, used derogatory language towards him. It was a lot of online responses by women that don't like men that were like, "Oh, I can look at the clip of him crying over and over again, and laughing and mocking." And to me, I'm like, you are the same people that talk about equality. You are the same people that say, "Oh, uh, our rights are not being are not being honored. We're being ignored. We're being criticized and mocked." And all I'm saying is that you are the people that's doing. Now, do I agree with everything that Jordan Peterson had to say? No, I don't. But he does have some really good talking points. And one thing that he said was that not all men are in these big, powerful are doing all these evil things. Some of us, we are just innocent bystanders, but you expect us to allow ourselves to suffer the consequences for things that we didn't do. And it's totally true. And even though you're working and you're doing the best you can to be an honest citizen, you should be suffering by taking care of somebody else's children along with a woman that you don't want to be with. And I know how it is to be vilified just for not going along with the program. Just like he's being vilified because he's standing up for the innocent men that's out here. And you have a lot of people that use a lot of shaming language. And it reminds me of the people that attack the passport bros. And It does. The ones that try to use everything negative under the book, try to place us all in one pile, try to just make all of us look trying to find happiness for our own self. Just like the men that follow Jordan Peterson, all they're trying to do is become the best versions of themselves. Now, do I follow Jordan Peterson? No, but I like a lot of his talking points. And said that he's on point with a lot of things. Some of the things that he said I did agree with, but oh well, that goes with anybody that's out there. Because I have a lot of respect for a lot of people that I like most of their talking points, but some of their talking points, it just doesn't fit me. Um, and I'm gonna name some names on here, like Black Ram 313. He has some awesome talk points, but do I agree with everything that he says? No. Same thing for Angry Man. I wouldn't have an issue with Angry Man if he would just acknowledge that not all men are going to be high earners in their lives. However, I do agree with him that we as men shouldn't give up on what it is that we want to do, that we should still strive to become the best versions of ourselves and try. And I agree with that aspect of it. But the part where he's just like, oh, you're just making excuses and like you can do it if you really want to. I'm just being realistic about things and about how society works and how there are barriers to economic changes and situations that can happen in a person's life. And I understand that he's like, well, nobody cares. I understand that nobody cares, but it is. I'm not going to give up, even though I know I got barriers against me, but I'm still going to try. And I do agree with that point that you still have to put forth the effort. You still got to do whatever it is that you need to do in order to make it to that next level. But if it's not happening, what can you do? You just got to do the best you can and just hope that things get better in the future. And if it don't, you got to learn how to just adjust and be okay with how things are and then work at it some more to try to improve. That's all anybody can. And I understand that even when you become a high earner, you can't get too comfortable because it's always somebody else that's looking to take your place and knock you down. Like Dr. Dre said a long time ago, and I saw this in a documentary where he said that for as hard as he worked for his money, there's two or three people working just as hard to take that money from him. And we saw what happened to him last year during his divorce. It was back up. But if you want to still, shame people for not being at a certain spot, you want to shame people for not doing what it is you think they should be doing, that's on you. But it's asinine. It's very stupid to do that, especially if that person is working towards a goal. But you want to shame them and you want to say, oh, nothing work, you might as well just do it the way that I want you to do it. And that person isn't cut out to do it in that particular way that you're trying to force them to do it. All you're going to do is cause that person to be even more resentful and more hate, have more hatred in his heart. you know so exception to those people that was mocking Jordan Peterson, making fun, because I'm like, what is it that you're doing with your life? Anna from the Young Turks, I wonder what it is that she has that's better than him. She wants to sit up there and criticize and mock people just because they don't agree with everything that she stands for. It's not intelligent. And I don't care how many was turn off more people from her. And I used to watch the Young Turks a lot, but then after I saw that they had an agenda and they had a program that they were trying to push, I had to get away from that. Just like the conservatives. Like one thing that I had to realize is that parties don't have the people and the general public in their best interests. They want to keep us going at each other. They want to keep us at each other's throats. Why? Because as long as there's chaos among us, they keep power and control. And so they put people in certain positions to, cause further divisions amongst the people. So we can't even disagreement with somebody like Jordan Peterson. They'd be like always trying to, push that disagreement more and more into it. And so nobody else would see anything else or what we're in agreement with. And that goes anybody. All I'm saying is that if you want respect, you have to give respect. And even though you don't agree with all of his talking points, not giving him the certain decency of respect and trying to make fun of him just because he got emotional because he's being personally attacked for no reason at all, it's wrong. And it's wrong on all fronts. It doesn't matter how you want to look at it, how you think that it should be. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And even though I don't agree with everything that he says, the response to that, especially by somebody like the Young Turks, especially by the feminists, don't like him. Like, what's the point of doing that? Why do that to that man? He's a human being just like you. If you had a huge platform and you was being attacked and have darts thrown at you like that, I wonder how much it would take for you to get emotional. Could you stand on your 2 feet and be able and be willing to fall on your own sword for what it is that you believe in? You see, a lot of people like to take it when it's them that's on the opposite end. And I've been one of those people where I was dishing and I couldn't take it. And then when I took it and I had to keep taking it over and over again, it woke me up to where I started seeing things a lot different than what I used to see it as. Where I try to do my best to treat people like decent like a decent human being. I try to shame and mock people online. But in this world that we live in today, where social media protects certain people from their actions and protect them from getting the boot to their face, they feel comfortable with disrespecting. They feel comfortable with tearing somebody down. We're at a time where more and more people are going to try to get grouped up, have their ideas and things like that pushed, try to make this a socialism type of deal in this country where if you don't go along with the program, they're going to try to block everything from you, block, support, block resources, block work, block, relationships, everything. This is where we're heading, and this is a prime example of that because Jordan Peterson was already taken off of Twitter just because he had a different view that went against what mainstream media is trying to push. Like if you're not going along with the agenda, they always going to find a way to make things difficult for you. And I'm not defending him 100%, everything that he has to say. But what I am saying is that it was just uncalled for. A lot of things that people put up here on social media, on the internet, is uncalled for. You don't have to like how I say it or what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to express it the way that I need to express it because I'm all about decent human being to others, especially in public. But if you want to act foolish, just know that what goes around comes around. And when it comes in your direction, ain't nobody gonna care. I'm certainly not gonna care. And the way that the feminists are treating men like Jordan Peterson and the average working man, it's making us less sympathetic for your situation. Now you have women out here that are single mothers and they can't find anybody, and those men are traveling and going different places, and they wonder what's going on. Is this type of attitude that I'm talking about right here that's going on. If you don't want to change your attitude, we're going to be even more. And if you don't want to change that, then oh well, you won't have to live with the consequences of it. You're going to have to live with everybody being divided even more and more and more. Because men are starting to wake up and realize what's going on. And the more that we wake up and the more that we realize, the more we're going to be thinking about as to the best of our ability where we're at, and not about the country, not about family, not about tradition, not about any of that stuff. All that's going to be thrown out the window. This is what equality looks like. Because if you want to be able to bash and insult people just because they are trying to look out for the best interest of their fellow man, then expect us not to care about what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're trying to do. I see that I keep on getting my signal keep on getting interrupted. Maybe it's because of the subject that I'm talking about. They don't like what it is that I got to say about them to this conclusion that I'm doing right now. Yeah, they gonna keep on interrupting my connection. So I'm just gonna wrap this up. But that's all I wanted to say as far as this go. Like it ain't right. More men are gonna keep. More men are gonna go their own way and live a free agent lifestyle, and they're gonna be saving themselves, and they're gonna be getting their passports, and they're not gonna be messing with you women up here in the States. If this is a type of attitude we got to deal with, why deal with it? Why tolerate it? But if you don't want to listen about that, you don't want to listen to what it is that I got to say, then oh well, you just got to deal with the consequences. With that being said, this is just Bob Bowman. Have a nice evening.